Yeah.
For about 4 months we have been preparing. Spouses, significant others, and civilian contractors have been getting their best dress ready. Buying ball gowns, suits, and of course uniform items has become the most important thing in everyone's mind. Individual units across the country are doing uniform inspections to make sure that their Marines look their absolute best for the upcoming ball. No detail is left to chance as hotel reservations are made well in advance. Cocktail hour begins at 6 p.m. in the dimly lit ballroom area. Everyone looks their best. This is one of only a few events where a Marine is required in fact, to wear his dress blue Alpha uniform, complete with gold buttons and large medals. Drinking or not, everyone shows up early, whether it's just to be seen in uniform or to meet up with buddies to check out the seating chart. This is also the best time to have your ball picture taken with the American flag and the Marine Corps flag, which are posted in the background. A Marine's rank doesn't hold the same value for tonight as it normally would. Low-ranking men and women will be sharing laughs and are encouraged to introduce their date to people of higher rank. For the next few hours, officers and staff will be totally accessible to the junior enlisted men and women who serve under them, even to the point of joking and picking at one another. This is not an opportunity to discuss work issues or problems, however. It doesn't matter who did what to whom or who got in trouble recently. Tonight is about just being glad to be together and glad to be Marines. The birth date of the Marine Corps is November 10, 1775. Every Marine knows it, so every year at this time we all get together and remember what it took for all of us to earn the title of Marine, and think about all those who have worn the uniform before us and what kind of standard we set for those who will wear it after we are gone. The ceremony starts just as any other ceremony in the Marines. The adjutant, a Marine singled out to run the ceremony, marches to a designated corner of the room. Attention to orders is called, and a small group of ceremony participants will perform some drill movements and form a ceremonial perimeter in the center of the room. Once they are all in place, they will perform some movements with their swords. They will hold this position and everyone else will stand at attention while the American flag is marched across the ceremony. Once the colors are presented, a pre-recorded message from the Commandant of the Marine Corps will be shown. This has been done since 1921 during the tenure of General John A. Lejeune as Commandant of the Marine Corps. Afterward, the Guard will hold a salute while the national anthem, the Marine Corps hymn, and Anchors Aweigh are played. All of us who are not a part of the ceremony will stand at attention like statues while our spouses and significant others watch, wondering why we stand there so still. Some take pictures, but most of them have been around us enough to know just to be still and watch. The Master of Ceremonies sounds the call to retire the colors, which means that the ceremonial flags will be marched to the back of the room and put away. The guest speaker is announced and we are all seated. The next step of the ceremony is down to the core values of the Marines. The cake is introduced to the ceremony, and the oldest and youngest Marine present are announced, followed by the birth date and enlistment date of each. The commanding officer will use a sword to cut the first pieces of cake, the first of which goes to the guest speaker. Next, the oldest Marine will pass a piece to the youngest Marine to signify how our traditions are passed down from generation to generation unchanged. They take a somber bite of cake, and that part of the ceremony comes to a close. The rest of us will get our cake after dinner is served. The cake is escorted out of the ceremony, and the Marines performing sword manual file out soon after. The official parts of the ceremony are about over, excluding an invocation and the dismissal of the color guard. Now it is time for the guest of honor to speak. This is almost always a highlight of the evening. The best speaker to come to my unit since I arrived there was the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Estrada. He spoke pretty briefly, but was very motivating, and as the highest ranking enlisted person in the Marine Corps, we felt very lucky to have him at our unit for the night. Once the speaker is finished, dinner is served, and we are once again friends, neighbors, and brothers just hanging out and enjoying ourselves. Now is the time we all get to eat, carry on, drink a little, dance a little, and relax. We get to share stories of a miserable training training cycle, talk about what you think someone you work for should or should not have done, and so forth. No matter how long a person has been in the Marines, boot camp stories are always a favorite. Spouses comment to one another about which guys are talked about at the end of the day, and things like, "I've heard so much about you," and "So you're the guy who," are heard around every table. Nights like tonight are one of the keystones of the Marine Corps. They give us all a chance to reflect on the past year, its miseries, and its fun times. It gives us a chance to break down the barrier that separates our lives in uniform from our lives out of uniform. One of the things my wife enjoys is the way we all are staggering around and goofing off during cocktail hour, and then pull it all together for a flawless ceremony, then flip the switch again for dinner and cake. More than anything, the Marine Corps Ball is about remembering those who have moved on in the year that has passed since the ball before. We spend a time of remembrance of those we celebrated with the year before who are no longer with us. We remember those who died in combat, those who have transferred to other units, or those who have simply given up wearing the uniform for a civilian career. These are still our brothers, and we miss each one.